One of the best self-release tools that is in my toolbox is the almighty broomstick. This is like getting someone's thumb and getting into that point of tension that's getting in your way. So if you've been doing mobility things and stretching and not getting any result, likely you need to release some of the knots with your own self-release tool. The other tool that I use a lot is the mobility ball, self-release ball, trigger point ball, which is here. We have these in stock always because they're the most important thing to be able to self-release. Now, if the stick is too much pressure or too hard for you, then you can just put a towel or something a little bit soft over the top. Now make sure you've got it in a nice anchor point. Now the two places I really love doing this stick with is for the pec minor, which is underneath of your large pec muscle, and for the teres minor, which is kind of like the little baby brother of the lat. So first one is the pec minor. What we want to do is grab your fingers into your armpit and then pull forward, and you can feel this big chunk of muscle, which is your pec, and in behind it on the inside edge is your pec minor. So we use that as a guide with the stick. We just go into that armpit there, and then with this hand we guide it forward, and we use the rib cage as a guide. We don't want to push onto the rib cage. We're trying to slide the stick around the front edge of the rib cage. So you'll see as I start to apply a bit of pressure, I'm rotating my body away, and you can see the pressure of the stick is actually coming up and forward as if I'm trying to peel my pec off of my chest. And then now I'm on pec minor in there. So see, I've got a little bit of body rotation coming in from the side slowly, not applying too much pressure, but just, and there is the pec minor. You'll feel it, it'll be a specific spot there. And then what we want to do on here is release, we want to give the thumbs up, and then we're hitchhiking. So I don't want the arm going back of the body, it's just in line with the stick here, and I'm going rotating the elbow over. See, I'm still in contact with the stick, but I'm just opening here. So it's this opening out. And I do that for reps. And you feel it lengthening that muscle out underneath of the end of the stick. And see, each time I'm getting a little bit more range, and you feel the contraction of the muscles in the back of the shoulder to offset the tightness on the front. So that's the pec minor. And then the next one, same thing, we start with gripping that from the armpit, but we're gripping the back portion, and you feel there's a chunk of muscle that you can feel under there. And if you push in deeper, you'll feel your actual shoulder blade as well. But we want that muscle bit there, and we're coming again in towards the rib cage, and then we're peeling it off the back. So how that looks is we get this in here as a guide, rest the arm on there, but then we want to kind of impale right through the back. Use the rib cage as the guide, skirt around the side of it, slowly apply a little bit of pressure, and then you'll feel that spot there. And so I'll do it on this side so you can see. We come in from the side. This time we're not rotating forward for the pec. We're going to the back, and you can see now the angle of the stick is poking up out through the back of me, and there it is there. You've got to move around, just find that sort of sharper point there, and then we do this thumbs up this way. So you're in line with the stick there, and you'll feel that that's massaging that tighter one underneath. And then that's it. Retest with whatever you're doing to find that you've got greater shoulder range. Two spots I've found really useful to do with the ball to self-release in the shoulders is number one, the large pec. And number 2 is all of the small, what we call the rotator cuff muscles into the back of the shoulder. So these can often feel tight and restrict our reach overhead, and we'll be stuck in this position here. So we want to be able to stand up and be nice and open without any arching of the back or really flaring out of the ribs as we reach up, because then we put other, like our lower back and other joints at risk as well. So what the ultimate test is that you can stand tall, glutes on, abs drawn up, fill the lungs, and be able to reach the arms straight up overhead, and you use your peripheral vision. Is this arm bone just slightly out of your peripheral vision? If they're in front slightly, then you'll be like this and you'll see it. It'll block your view. So we want to reach up in a Y, strong into the ground, and then you have to actually do a little bit of a sideways glance out of your eyeballs to see the arms. Then we're in a good position. No pain as well. So first one, we want to open the arm out, palm flat on the wall, and we're exposing the underside of the collarbone here. And we're going to use that as the guide for the ball. It's going to work along the chest, underneath the collarbone. We never roll over bones, only ever on soft tissue. So we come in here looking the other way, place the ball just underneath of the collarbone there, and then we can slide ourselves along the ball to release in and around there. Just use the other hand as a little bit of a guide on the ball to make sure you don't slip, and you've always got a little bit of pressure onto the wall. Oh, and they're nice. There's also a little muscle under there called subclavicular, which is underneath the clavicle, which is your collarbone. Very fancy names. They usually just indicate where the muscle is and where it goes, what it's attached to. So that's that one. Feels wonderful. Then the other one is we're using the spine of the scapula as our guide. If you reach over, you can feel there's like a knobbly bit of your scapula, and there's a muscle that runs on top of it, and there's also a muscle that runs underneath of it. And we want to follow the line of those two, one at a time, out towards where it connects with the arm bone. Now I'm on there, a little bit of a lean on the wall, and then I'm just going to make sure this right arm is nice and relaxed. So I'm going to hold it. It's just floppy. I'm going to hold it there and then focus on really relaxing into this shoulder. And I'm just peeling myself around on the ball, following that line out to just where you feel it connects with the arm. And then we follow the line all the way back. So make sure that you're not rolling over any bones. You'll feel the bones. Don't apply pressure into the bones. Use the bone as a guide, but you're staying on the muscle there. So that's the underneath one, and then I'm just shifting to on top, and then we're just working along on top there, making sure that you're not holding the shoulder tight so that you can get into that. Then once we're finished, we do our retest. Stand strong. Oh my God, how much better does that one feel? Even you can see in my video, mine was pretty good at the start, and now this right one has got so much more range. So retest, and you know that you've done a good job.